Day 16, this kind. Daily Devotional. Today you're going to read what may be one of the most keeping it 100 examples of a totally desperate prayer in the whole Bible. I do believe, help me overcome my unbelief. Those words came from a dad who has tried everything to get help from his son and was met with nothing but discouragement, disappointment, and bitter defeat. He'd even tried God. He took his son to see Jesus' disciples, and they couldn't do anything for him. This dad is desperate. And as a father myself, I can totally put myself in his shoes, or sandals, or whatever they wore. If it were one of my sons, I would have done anything I could, and I wouldn't give up, even if I thought my situation was hopeless. This guy doesn't have much hope left. His faith tank is empty, and he's running on fumes. If Jesus can't help, have you ever felt like this? I know I have, but this man understands something incredibly important. Without expectation, without faith, there's no hope. So he does away with false humility and a good believer mask and bluntly asks for help. I do believe, help me overcome my unbelief. The final part of HSPE, remember, high school PE, is expected. You can call it faith. It's that hopeful feeling that needs to be part of our prayers. It's not enough to simply believe that God is God. We need to believe that he rewards those who diligently seek him. See Hebrews 11:6. You might be feeling like the dad from today's reading. And if so, I'm going to tell you the same thing Jesus tells this father. Everything is possible for one who believes. Henry Ford famously said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So what are you thinking? What's your situation? Do you believe God can do it? Whatever it is in your life. Or are you on empty like this father? If you're out of gas, burned out, exhausted, and having trouble believing God, you're in exactly the right place. You don't need to conjure up some faith or muster up some disingenuous positive thoughts. Instead, ask Jesus for help, like this guy does. Now get ready for some good news. You're already doing what Jesus tells his disciples to do, fasting and praying. And what happens when we fast and pray with expectation? Breakthrough.
One of the men in the crowd spoke up and said,
"Teacher, I brought my son so you could heal him. He is possessed by an evil spirit that won't let him talk. And whenever this spirit seizes him, it throws him violently to the ground. Then he foams at the mouth and grinds his teeth and becomes rigid. So I asked your disciples to cast out the evil spirit, but they couldn't do it."
Jesus said to them, "You faithless people, how long must I be with you? How long must I put up with you? Bring the boy to me." So they brought the boy. But when the evil spirit saw Jesus, it threw the child into a violent convulsion, and he fell to the ground, writhing and foaming at the mouth. "How long has this been happening?" Jesus asked the boy's father. He replied,
"Since he was a little boy. The spirit often throws him into the fire or into water trying to kill him. Have mercy on us and help us if you can."
"What do you mean, if I can?" Jesus asked. "Anything is possible if a person believes." The father instantly cried out,
"I do believe, but help me overcome my unbelief."
When Jesus saw that the crowd of onlookers was growing, he rebuked the evil spirit. "Listen, you spirit that makes this boy unable to hear and speak," he said. "I command you to come out of this child and never enter him again." Then the spirit screamed and threw the boy into another violent convulsion and left him. The boy appeared to be dead. A murmur ran through the crowd as people said,
"He's dead."
But Jesus took him by the hand and helped him to his feet, and he stood up. Afterward, when Jesus was alone in the house with his disciples, they asked him,
"Why couldn't we cast out that evil spirit?"
Jesus replied, "This kind can be cast out only by prayer." And it is impossible to please God without faith. Anyone who wants to come to him must believe that God exists, and that he rewards those who sincerely seek him.